when imposter is us. Mm. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Mm-mm. I don't feel safe. Now that I got your attention with those silly memes from Among Us and Amphibia, let's get down to business. Yeah. I have some more thoughts I'd like to share about Amphibia's final episodes, and what could be done if Disney Channel finally gave Billy a chance to pursue new spin-offs or specials in the future that revisit Amphibia 4 or 5 years from now. Oh yeah. You know, I can't help but notice that within Amphibia, I mean, you know, the three main Calamity girls, we have Anne Boone Choi, Sasha Waybright, and Marcy Wu. And look at their hair colors. Anne Boone Choi has brown hair, Sasha has blonde hair, and Marcy has black hair. And the crystals, they have the same red, blue, pink, blue, and green color scheme as the Powerpuff Girls. Calamity Box crystals. Although they don't really exactly match the characters because even though Marcy's Calamity Stones, Buttercup's color, I think she's really more like Bubbles, and Sasha's Blossom color, but she's more like Buttercup. So even though Anne is, I guess Anne is by process of elimination, Anne was Bubbles' color, Bubbles' Calamity Stone colors, of course, standing out for Blossom. Even though Anne Boone Choi has brown hair instead of red hair, yeah, I noticed that these, shall I say, I want to call them these three Calamity Box girls. Even though none of these three Calamity Box girls have red hair, they still haven't kept. I noticed that Anne Boone Choi still encountered quite a few redheaded characters, characters with orange hair, both in Amphibia and in Earth. Look, right off the bat, in Amphibia you've got the Sundew and Planter. You've got the Sundew and Planter families. Was that right? Big and Ivy have orange hair, and Felicia Sundew is red haired. Yeah, I know, it's complicated. For some reason, in Amphibia, in the cartoon world of Amphibia, amphibians the amphibians of the amphibian world have hair. Gilbert. And on Earth, of course, we got there's Maggie, that mean girl with the pigtails who calls Anne Boone Choi Boob Choi, which I thought that was when she had her second and final speaking appearance in the middle of All In, I thought that was very funny. I thought that was a very funny callback to her first appearance before in Reunion. And I guess she has made a few other background appearances in flashbacks and episodes taking place on Earth, such as, I know I saw Maggie in the scene of the volleyball court when in one of Anne's flashbacks with Marcy. And of course, there's also there's Gabby, that girl who was talking a lot to Anne Boone Choi, who was gabbing to Anne about the stuff that had happened while she was gone in Hop Till You Drop. There's Emily, the background girl who's famous for a Karen joke where guy at the shawarma restaurant calls her Karen, and she says, "My name is Emily, but point taken." Also, interesting fact: Emily and Maggie, who each have 2 episodes with the speaking part. They're both voiced by Eden Regal, a dialogue director of Amphibia. Is that beautiful young girl you might know from Days Are Alive. It wasn't all like children. I don't remember all the shows. Well, I'm sure it's one of those 2. Or General Hospital. Yeah. I know James Patrick Stewart, who plays One-Eyed Wally. He's also a soap opera actor before during Amphibia. I know he's currently in General Hospital with the family launches every weekday. Oh yeah, and another major redhead character that you've seen in Amphibia's Pepper Ann. You know, one of Matt Braley's biggest inspirations from childhood. He got Disney Channel and Pepper Ann's character designers to let him bring out Pepper Ann after nearly 25 years after Pepper Ann. We got to see her, and we got to see her in 2 shots of All In. You know, I'm very disappointed that Sasha and Marcy. I'm very disappointed that Amphibia ended before we got to see Sasha and Marcy's families. But you know, Matt Braley has said that he left the door open for possible sequels or continuations in the future. So I know it. So for everybody who's for everybody else who has the same disappointments with Amphibia's last few episodes that I do, with season 3 being too short, not getting to learn any more about those light creatures who gain a physical form when reflected from here in the sleepover and all sleepovers. Not getting to meet Sasha and Marcy's families, even though I'm sure they played an important role. I'm sure they played an important role in the storylines and their influences on Sasha's and Marcy's characters shortly before they went to Amphibia with Anne. And of course, the fact that season 3 didn't have a 3rd musical showdown like the ones you saw, and it didn't have a 3rd musical showdown episode like the previous 2 seasons had with Fiddle Me This and Battle of the Bands. Yeah, so here's what I think could happen. A lot of people I think a lot of people have noticed, there are some subtle hints throughout the previous series that, that Sasha's parents are divorced. It makes sense. That'll make sense if she, Sasha acts maybe Sasha acts the way that she is because maybe Sasha wants to take control of her friendships with Marcy and Anne because of she wishes she could control relationships, and she's probably and if her parents are divorced, then obviously Sasha's even more worried than Marcy was at the beginning of True Colors about relationships and strong family bonds or friendship bonds splitting up. So even though Sasha wasn't the one desperate to keep Marcy and Anne with her on Anne's 13th birthday, she may still know how Marcy feels in that regard, because she grew up to be a child therapist in the 10-year time skip at the end of the end of the hardest thing, and the clearest sign about the clearest sign that Sasha's parents may be divorced was the fact that in Froggy Little Christmas, when Aunt Boone Choi was writing in anonymous letters to, telling the Wu family and the Wainwright family about where their daughters are, to explain why she came back from the Amphibia world, and they haven't come back yet. Yeah, I'm sure all of us noticed that there's one letter, unless we fell asleep before the end of Froggy Little Christmas. I'm sure all of us noticed that there was only one letter addressed to the Wu family, and 2 separate letters addressed to Mrs. Wainwright and Mr. Wainwright. Oh yeah, here's one of those. I voted sickness because the day before yesterday I voted in the midterms. Hope we can get some good Democrats to be Higglytown Heroes of the Year. Stop further insurrectionists and overturning of Roe v. Wade. So back to Amphibia. So here's what I think Amphibia's 59th and 60th episode should be about. So that Matt Braley can finally have a complete 20 episode third season of Amphibia, because I think as far as I know, he originally decided to cut it 2 episodes short. Yeah. Okay, well, I guess I'm not really worried I wasn't really longing for voices in Amphibia because it wasn't quite as attached to it as it was to Star Wars Seal, but it's nice that I really didn't push his luck for the 4th season. And waste half of it in a necessary filler like Dernesky did, and he also didn't go the route of forcing an ending where Ann's Break and Stay together by merging the worlds of Earth and Amphibia together like Dernesky and all of her writers did. Cleve played merging together Earth and Unity because of Star Markers and Kiss, or some ridiculous thing like that. Of course, I love no boundaries, even cross dimensions. So yeah, we have Blossom here. Blossom's actor from the new Harmonical series voices Polly Planter, and she's a good reminder that. Yeah, see, that was actually my conversation starter about all of the red-headed characters that Baby's had. Yeah, Blossom. I'm sorry that none of the 3 Clan Blacks goes with red or white shirt, but it's nice to know that the Planners, the Sundews, other girls, other teenage girls raised from Earth, could almost make up for that. Actually, I think they already do much make up for that. Actually, I think Spriggan Nice fans do very much make up for that. Okay, so here's what I think should happen in the 59th and 60th episodes of Amphibia, and I think it'd also be a pretty good idea I think Matt Braley should start making them 4 years from now in 2026. That would be a good time for Disney Channel Braley to start working on the remaining 2 Amphibia episodes after the hardest thing, and show us, to complete the 3rd season. So here's what I think should happen in the 59th and 60th episodes of Amphibia. The 59th episode should show us, it'll begin with Maddie Flower and her sisters, and Chuck, the creator of Cameo Who Grows Tulips. They'll all be working on a magic portal to try to, because they'll try to create their own magic portal without the Calamity Box stones, because of how much they miss Marcy, Wu, and Boone Choi. And the planters they're excited at this prospect. I know Sprig would definitely be happy to see Anne after 10 years. Yeah, okay. The reason why I stated that is, yeah, it's to give so that the three main planner characters of Amphibia can still have cameos at the beginning of the story that would mostly focus on Sasha and Marcy's families from Earth, right? I think the 59th episode should be about Sasha and should be about Sasha's and the 59th episode should be about Sasha, should focus on Sasha and Marcy and the family dynamics that they had with their parents before they moved to Amphibia, Van Boon Choi. And then we can get to, finally get to see Marcy with his parents after hearing only one sentence from each of them in true colors. Because I know lots of Amphibia fans want to see Sasha's and Marcy's families. And then from that we can hear more information about their out-of-state job, and then have another new scene at the end of the hardest thing, where after the three Calamity Box girls go back to Amphibia, after the three Calamity Box girls go back to Earth, we have another scene with the Calamity Box where we have the girls. Once they're back on Earth, Anne comes back to her parents. They're happy to see Anne again after they might be pretty. She might, unless she wants to keep it a secret, Anne's parents will be pretty amazed after she tells them that how she died, but then she undied as her reward for using the Calamity Stones for good instead of evil, like King Andreas' father did. Then Marcy's parent. Then we'd go back. Then we'd switch back to Marcy's side of the story, where she's sad about moving away from Sasha and Anne because they never spent any time to get, because they rarely ever shared any of the same interests as her. So Marcy agrees. So Marcy accepts that it's time to go and leave and move away from Sasha and Anne, since Anna was able to do the same thing by detaching herself from the planters physically, but not emotionally. Of course, she still remembers and loves them the rest of her life. And then Marcy would, and then I guess if Marcy's parents are nice, they'd let her have one final sleepover with Sasha and Anne, and then that's when they say goodbye for good. After that. But at the same time, of course, Marcy would also probably be grounded for half a year or a whole year. Depending on how long she kept her parents waiting to move. And then after that, so then we get to see what Marcy's life. So then we get to see what Marcy's life is like in the new in their new territory, in their new state, their new hometown, and then that's when Marcy discovers another supernatural thing powered by music that could help her, Sasha and Anne, get back to Amphibia after 10 years apart. And she tells Sasha and Anne all about what that thing is when she visits for Anne's 24th birthday at the end of after the end of the hardest thing. After that, the 60th episode should focus on the planters and Sundu's new adventures, going to exploring a new continent beyond in their world beyond them, exploring that new continent I mentioned in their planet beyond Amphibia. And I know from seeing a few shots of their planet at the end of the hardest thing, it's not flat. Okay, so I'm really sorry about the Earth is not flat, and to Olivia and Yunnan shippers, I understand why you see them as a couple in your mind, because you see them together a lot, but at no point in Amphibia have I ever seen Lady Olivia and General Yunnan show. I've never seen them show any signs of affection or romantic attraction to each other like those two girls who fix robots, Jess and Allie. Olivia and Yunnan never struck me as being that close to each other. They just were like Andreas. two ladies who happen to work for King Andreas and are both mother figures to Marcy Wu, but I don't think they ever had any romantic attraction with one another. So yeah, the Planters and Sundews and Captain Grime go search the car, outer reaches of their planet to see what other new continents there are and what other lore there is to explore in this world. And maybe that's how they could find a way back to Anbu and Choi, Sasha Weaver, Marcy Wu, and you know what else we would happen? You know what else I'd love to see happen in the 60th episode? I think once they're reunited, and Marcy and Sasha should finally have their, and Boon Choi should finally have that third musical showdown that the rest of the third season didn't have. So that the pattern of Philomenidas and Battle of the Bands will finally be unbroken. Hooray! And actually, you know what? Since Kathleen Wilhoit is a very talented singer, and you know, the season 3 of Pepper Ann is even about Pepper Ann trying to get into musical and dreaming up a world where everything is musical. I definitely think finally go. That would be the perfect. If Amphibia did have a third musical showdown, that would be a terrific. That would be a perfect golden opportunity to go one step further with that Pepper Ann crossover cameo, where you may ask, is this a crossover by chance? Like Simpsons asked about. There's this girl in the version that reminded him of Candace, Irene's sister, and the version of Victoria's such a common. So anyhow, yeah, that's what should happen in the 59th and 60th episodes of Amphibia. They both, Maddie and Marcy from the episode Maddie and Marcy are both trying to find new ways to cross dimensions between Earth and Amphibia, so they can find each other again, and as well as Sasha getting to reunite with Captain Grime and Boon Choi get to play with the Planters and the Sundews again. And because Quincy's wished that because Quincy's said that to emotionally recover from the series finale of Amphibia, he would need another 22-minute episode. It's just the young adult and Sasha and Marcy playing or hanging out again 10 years later, as well as the fun stuff happening in Amphibia. And I can vouch for that, which is why I just pitched 2 free opportunities for Matt Braley, and which is why I just pitched 2 free opportunities for Matt Braley and the executive producers of Disney Channel to use for how they can find each other again. 59th and 60th episodes are, I repeat, the 59th and 60th episodes are both about Maddie and Marcy from the episodes of Maddie and Marcy trying to find a way back to each other in Amphibia so they can see each other again. Sasha can reunite with Grime, and Anne can reunite with the Planters and Sundews after 10 years. That would make an excellent reunion story for an excellent follow-up sequel after the end of the main series. It's kind of nice actually to have for the first. I think they should both be full-hour specials, and one of them should also be like one of them should be a the first one would be a Marcy spin-off special that focuses on Marcy's family and her new home while still being recorded the story relevant to the events she has experienced with Anne, Sasha, and Amphibia. And besides, can you imagine how amazing that would be if Kathleen Wilhoit and Brenda Song's musical talents came together.
It's no big deal. Yeah, no big deal. Pepper Ann, marching in her own parade.
Pepper Ann, she's like 1 in a million.
I know we certainly can. You just heard some of it. Because I put those clips together in the middle of this video for you here. Yeah, Pepper Ann should definitely. Yeah, this would be an excellent opportunity to have the crossover. You know, yeah, if it came out in 2027, that would be a time to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Pepper Ann and to have Pepper Ann come into that. And have Pepper Ann come into play. Have the 60th episode would be the 59th episode would be a spin-off. 59th episode would be a 1 hour spin-off special focusing on Marcy, and then the 60th one would have a full hour spin-off special. We'd have a full hour when Anne is trying to find a way back into Amphibia. When Anne and Marcy are trying to find a way back to Amphibia, but also Sprig, Ivy, and May are also want to find a way back to Earth. Then, yeah, that would make it. Yeah, if it was a third musical showdown after the events of Battle of the Bands, that would be a great opportunity for a crossover special with Pepper Ann, since Amphibia and Pepper Ann both play big cartoons after all. I think Kathleen Wilhoit and April Winchell would love to come back to. Would love to reprise Pepper Ann on Amphibia. If Disney Channel gave me the opportunity to do so, we can continue the 60th episode then.